Call of Duty? I wouldn't know what that name meant if it came right up to me and smacked me dead in the damn face. Believe me when I say that no other shooter out today is quite like Insurgency Sandstorm. A few years back, my buddy Ethan bought me this game, and in a nutshell, I had adapted to its addictive and intense gameplay, playing for hours and hours unlocking new cosmetic items for my insurgent and security characters. To sum it up, the teams are divided into two, the security and insurgents. Each side gets their own unique set of weaponry, gadgets, gear, tools, grenades, etc. Before each match, you'll have the option to spend class points and change the way you run into battle, switching up your playstyle to your liking. After each game, no matter what mode you play, you'll earn tremendous amounts of XP accompanied by a new cosmetic item being available for purchase once you level up. The main mode that I'm going to talk about today is Cooperative because it is my favorite. In co-op, players have to team up to take down an army of the enemy team while completing mission objectives and defending certain checkpoints. There's multiple cooperative missions to play solo or with friends, so let me just give you a brief gist of what's here, just in case you don't already know. Survival is a high-octane series of capturing strong points with your team, fighting off endless waves of the enemy while standing your ground. During the beginning of each match, you're forced to use a dinky pistol in order to defend yourself. Thankfully, this game is very realistic, so a shot to the head with anything is a guaranteed kill so long as you can pace your shots. With each new progressive wave beaten, you'll have the option to open up a nearby crate with a random weapon equipped with RNG attachments. Sometimes you could get a decent suppressed shotgun, other times you'd be stuck with a fucking grease gun and an ugly scope. This game isn't like Tarkov in any way, but there are some similarities. The combat is highly realistic, and moseying around in the open is a death sentence. If you're not fast, accurate, and focused, you'll surely fall victim to the sands of darkness when your enemies pop you in the head from across the map. The AI in Insurgency, in my opinion, is so fucking good too. It always seems to time itself perfectly with your actions, meaning that sometimes you could be sitting still waiting for an enemy to appear, then you decide, my guard's down, I might as well reload. Then out of nowhere, some asshole comes in and blows you to kingdom come. End of story. Unlike Tarkov, Insurgency is a well-designed game. This basically means that when you die, you only have to wait until your team picks up another objective and then you'll respawn. You'll be without the primary gun you picked up from before, but it shouldn't take you long to find a replacement. The sound design? Oh man, if the OG Battlefield games and Tarkov had passionate sex, this is probably what it would sound like. Bullets rip and whiz past your face at deadly cracking speeds. Enemies shout and scream and taunt you. Best of all, if you rise to the top of the leaderboard in your lobby, you'll become a prime target to the enemy. I even enjoy how smooth the movement is, allowing the player to have many freedoms with climbing and vaulting. Destructible cover is very impressively done, and serves to put the player in an uncomfortable space if and when the enemy initiates a massive coup de grace. All around, it just feels perfect to play anytime, anywhere. The graphics are absolutely stunning. I mean, this game came out a few years ago and I still find myself blown away by it. Every explosion that deafens your ears and gives you tunnel vision, every time you pop an enemy's head off of their shoulders, it's the most satisfying yet realistic take on modern combat I've seen in a long time. There's no bullshit exosuits with jump packs or rocket boots. There's no players running around like fucking headless chickens. It's not purely luck-based. It's solely reliant on the skill and hand-eye coordination of the player themselves, and that's the best compliment I can give it. When I play Insurgency, it feels like I'm in control of a legit squad, or at least a part of one, fighting some foreign affair in another half of the world and putting my life on the line to unlock cool-looking hoodies and helmets, as our average American army does today. Look, it's no secret, every single soldier in the army right now knows that the more kills they get, the better the clothing they unlock. Seriously though, the game really is one of a kind, and playing it now feels bittersweet. I used to pass on this game heavily back when it was more popular, but I've been making up heavily for lost time. I'm not the highest level or anything, but it's an experience that almost never irritates me. Sure, you'll probably have games where you die more often than you want to, but if you stay consistent with your performance and challenge yourself harder, you'll do great. Oh man, how could I forget about the maps? Every map within Insurgency Sandstorm feels open, accessible with multiple pathways leading to various objective locations, offering a team-based experience where you can divide yourselves into smaller groups and work together to get where you need to go, all the while eliminating these assholes that stand in your way. I only wish I had more people to play with because this game is sadly underrated in my opinion. In the past, I've had fun diving into the chaos with some friends, so today I can imagine the loads of fun I'd have with a full squad of fun guys as we tear apart the opposition and bring home the medal. So, are you ready for the dumb part of the video? Yeah, it's time to talk about the things I'm not a big fan of. Worry not though, fanboys, I'm one of you. Sandstorm is my all-time favorite competitive shooter to date, so consider these constructive above all else. If you somehow haven't touched this game yet, I beg of you, buy it and give it a shot, you won't be sorry. But anyway, some of my complaints can really be summarized with an explanation. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan of how easily you can die. I know, big shocker, a fucking first-person war simulator and you die easily. Who would have thought? Sometimes it seems you can dump an entire mag trying to kill a brainless enemy that stands out in the open, but other times you round a corner and don't even have a second to react before you drop dead. I don't recommend sprinting around corners nor into objectives for this reason alone. I can't tell you how many goddamn times I've run into an objective just to get dropped instantly by some douchebag laying on the ground. It's best to take your time when you can and remain behind cover at all costs. You might think that getting the best kill-death ratio is what guarantees the player a spot on the top of the leaderboard, but you're actually incorrect. Sandstorm's primary XP gain, and the whole point of the game really, is to play the objective. The match won't progress otherwise, so it just makes sense. Sure, kills are nice, but I've risen to the top of the board just by solo capturing and defending objectives multiple times. It takes a shit ton of patience, practice, and discipline, but it also rewards the most XP. That's the best word I can use for the game here, discipline. It feels like a proper hardcore experience in my opinion. Many might chuckle at that description of Sandstorm, but it's definitely no walk in the park. I've played games like Tarkov where your attention can't be shifted even for a fucking minute, otherwise it could cost you everything and more. In this game, however, dying isn't the worst thing in the world, and even though it may be a small amount, you gain XP even if you do absolutely fuck all for the duration of the match. Fuck me, I forgot I was supposed to be complaining, but you see what I mean? It's hard to complain about a game like this when I've played it for so long. I guess one of the major complaints I have is more aimed towards the other players than it is the game itself. If you're in a match full of people with zero communications, you might as well pull the pin on your grenade and blow yourself up. Being able to talk to everyone, whether using your mic or the in-game quip menu, is essential if you want to survive the mission. I've definitely won plenty of games before with zero comms, but I got reasonably lucky. It helps to have a skilled team that are willing to cooperate and communicate, because in a band of brothers, we must rely on one another to play along. It's in our blood as soldiers, goddammit. I'm also not a big fan of the weapon lineup. Alright, I'll admit, I'm kind of reaching here, but I feel like there could be a lot more guns added to the game. I noticed they do add free updates that introduce new weapons available to everyone who owns it, so I guess I can't complain. Never mind. Yeah, how about that? Free updates with free stuff. There's no $70 DLC disguised as a Warzone clone here, so what's COD's excuse? I'm not saying Insurgency doesn't have microtransactions, it definitely does. And either though both games are completely optional with them, I'd like to think Sandstorm is less in your face and scummy about it. Plus, you can actually earn shit just by playing. If you're a beginner, it may take quite a while to get your characters and gear in nice shape, but unlocking the new things and progressing through the levels is part of the reward. I don't remember the last time COD actually gave something to its fanbase that meant anything. Oh, another thing. Don't you dare try to kill an enemy with full auto unless you're right in his fucking face. I usually switch every rifle of mine to semi for long range peg shots and steadier recoil control, because full auto is a hilariously bad joke that will get you killed at anything but close range. Also, stay crouched and move slow when indoors. Leaning around corners is your best bet against the enemy. Scan every room bottom to top. Make sure there aren't any assholes laying down or hiding in a bathroom stall waiting to charge your ass from behind. And if you have to defend a very claustrophobic objective, consider stepping off the base to get to a more advantageous spot. You don't need to stand at the objective and risk getting fucked up. Instead, get somewhere safe, assist your team from another angle, and watch your ass. If they need backup, provide it. If you're planning on playing a night mission, consider bringing in some NVGs, otherwise you'll have one hell of a time fighting shadows in the doorways. Often you won't even see it coming. Playing at night is a lot crazier than during the day. Checkpoint is the other game mode that I love to death. Here, you have to capture and destroy enemy objectives one at a time as you move through the map, ranging from match lengths of 20 to 30 minutes. Checkpoint, in my opinion, is definitely the hardest mode, solely based on the fact that a single game could last 45 minutes or longer. Add insult to injury that when your team dies, the game restarts from the very first objective. I've had plenty of great games where we captured all objectives with no issue, only to get swamped during the final defense wave. Then it's all the way back to the beginning. But hey, I can't be too mad. XP stacks over each game, so I could do this 3 times in a row and earn 15,000 XP in total. And that feels good on its own. It's just a big time commitment is all. Usually every new season or so, Insurgency brings a special mode to its roster for double XP and other goodies. Outpost is yet another engaging mode, with each new wave occurring at random intervals. Working with your squad, you'll have to capture specific holdout points and defend them until the enemy retreats. It starts off rough because you can't afford any decent equipment. You're limited by the amount of points you have. You can earn more by getting kills and scoring objectives. Although it's considered a challenging experience altogether, I still think Sandstorm is a staple in modern combat games. It's so much fucking fun. The different modes, customization, and weaponry are very interesting to mess with and get a feel for what playstyle best suits you. I've loved playing this game since getting it long ago, and I'm more than excited to see where the series goes from here. I'm planning on covering other aspects of this game in the future if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing, but for now, I'm just gonna say this. Sandstorm is a fucking brutal game, but it's for sure the greatest modern combat game I've had the pleasure of owning. Someday, I hope I can roll in with a full squad and get some heat rolled out, but for now, I'm having the time of my life playing with randoms. Who knows? Maybe you and I'll bump heads out there in the game. Until next time, I'm gonna hit the road. Thanks for watching, everyone.